Here we go now. Here we go now. Here we go now.
You can go like this.
Screw.
Dude, vlog time.
Right, left.
Goes around, Carly.
1, 2, 3, 4.
She had. Cool. All right, so we have some announcements for you guys as we get started. First of all, welcome. Glad you guys are here joining us and excited for what we got going on tonight. So a couple things for you. Number one, this Sunday, as you know, we have small groups at 1 p.m., not a.m., like I just thought in my head. But you didn't hear that, so that's fine. So at 1 p.m. on Zoom. If you don't have the Zoom link, come see me afterward, or you can go to our Instagram account. We have it on our Instagram. Working with it to get on our actual website so you can get it there. But anyway, so just text me, have your parents email me, Facebook, whatever, I don't care. So any mode of communication you want to do, carrier pigeon, I'll write it back into carrier pigeon if I have to. I don't care. Like as long as you can read my handwriting. So anyway, so that's 1 p.m. Zoom every Sunday, and so excited for that. So don't miss out on small groups. It's going to be a great time. All right. After small groups, we also got a couple other things for you. Number one, we want to remind you guys that we have main service notes that we do every single week. So we encourage you guys during the main services on Sunday, we make some student-friendly notes for you to fill out and for you to kind of have written down so that you can kind of, stay engaged and all that what's going on with the message. And so with that said, because of that, we also have some of you have filled out those. And when you fill it out and you send it in, you get entered into a drawing for a $5 gift card somewhere. And this week, we are giving out a $5 gift card to Oberweis, which I'm pretty excited about. So we're going to be giving that away to one lucky person in this room today. So, woohoo, woohoo. So, there's that. And then also, we want to encourage you guys to keep doing that because in our small groups, we're going to be making a little bit of a change in the next couple weeks. And so paying attention during the main service might be profitable to you. So with that said, we got a little video for you to show you who won this week. So let's show up that video. Let's see who's going to win here today. Ella Burns! There's $5. Well, like kind of made it to you there. That was pretty good. So, all right, there's $5. Oberweis, you can get yourself a ice cream cone with no ice cream in it. Woohoo! So, anyway, you can get half a gallon of milk, maybe. You can get a third. Yeah! You can get another $5 gift card. Yeah! I don't know. There's probably plenty of things at Oberweis. Actually, I was there today because I got the gift card. And if I remember correctly, you could get like an Americano, a Frappuccino thingy, all kinds of stuff. So anyway, there you go. So congrats, Ella, on the $5 gift card. Woohoo, awesome stuff. One other announcement for you really quick is we have some birthdays that we were celebrating this week. So number 1 and 2, we already celebrated them. They happened on Monday. Haley and Josh celebrated their birthday on Monday. So what? Yeah, that's you, Josh. Anyway, so I had this freak out moment that I got the wrong date, that it was actually Tuesday. So when you said that, I was like, did I just say the wrong day? No. Okay, it was Monday. It's like confidence spin. Anyway, so yeah, happy birthday, guys. Hope you had a great, did you guys have a good day? No, Josh and Haley, did you guys have a good birthday? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Josh didn't, but Haley did. So I guess he did whatever Haley wanted to do. So anyway, all right. And then also this Saturday is Xander Reppert's birthday. So be sure to send him a little message or something or text and say, hey, happy birthday. Get your butt back in church, dude. Anyway, or to small group. I don't know, something like that. I just said butt on stream, so I said it again. There you go. All right. Sorry, new 6th graders. So, and parents, if you're watching. Okay, moving on. We are in our series called What to Do When You Don't Know What to Do, and we're going to be finishing that series tonight, so looking forward to that. But I'm going to stop talking because, yeah, obvious reasons. And Rachel's got a game for you, and I believe Rachel Carter has a mic for you, so you might need to run back and grab that mic real quick. Oh, Carter's going to run it to you. What service? So, or maybe Nick is. Anyway, we got a game for you guys tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. And for those of you that are online, I see 2 of you that are online. There's going to be a game for you. But also, they're going to be separate games. But for those of you that are in the room, you can also kind of participate with what's going on online at the same time. So Rachel's going to explain the in-person one for a little while. And then we'll start both games simultaneously. So, sound good? You get to explain the online. The online one's pretty self-explanatory. It explains itself, per se. So it's a trivia game. It's enough said. So, all right. Let's hear it.
Right. Who do we got online? Samuel and Sully. Woohoo! And Abby. Qdoba. What? Abby, where's my Qdoba? That's just rude. Talking about Qdoba. It's one of my favorites. Just kidding. It's not rude. I'm just being silly. How are you guys tonight? Tired. Yeah, I feel that. You're okay? Is anybody great? Ben's great! That is great. Nora is great because she has no homework. That's awesome. All right. Well, so online, you guys are going to play a trivia game. It's pretty self-explanatory. We'll start it here in a second. And then in person, guys, any idea what we're doing? You think we're going to do musical chairs during a pandemic? Psh, please. No, we're not doing musical chairs. That's a really good guess, though. So you know how last week we played the 6 feet drawing Pictionary thingy-mabobby? Yeah, 6 feet drawing. Hey, Luke! No, not 6 foot hot potato. I don't even know if we have a name for it. It's just going to be called... Wait, where are the poles? Oh, oh, thanks, Nick. It's called 6 feet pinata. Well, kind of pinata. I made that name up. So what's going to happen is I'm going to call up 2 of you. Thanks, Nick. One of you is going to hold the 6-foot stick, and one of you is going to be in the circle. Nick's going to demonstrate, and you're going to have a blindfold on. But we're not sharing blindfolds because no one's getting corona. So y'all get your own blindfold, and then I'm going to make Ben go home and wash them. So then you're going to try and give them candy. This is going to be awesome. Nick, I can't actually let you have it because then I'm going to have to give it to you. You promise you won't? Oh, he got it. So then you get to keep the candy. But you're not allowed to eat it until after. Church rules. Sorry. I know. Sorry. This is going to be, what's that word called? Temptation test. I was like, what's the word for when you want to do something but you shouldn't do it? Temptation. So I'm going to go call up you up, and then you guys are going to trade places, and I'm going to switch out the candy. No candy requests, please. Y'all can switch after. Just Lysol the candy before you switch, or do it outside. I just don't want to see it. If you want to do a dirty candy deal, don't do it in the church. I'm just being silly. So I'm gonna we're gonna like mix it up. So I'm gonna have first Ella and Josh come up. We're gonna mix this up a little bit. And then Ella, can you grab the other thing, Bobby? Stick. So I have to redo each one. So that's why I have two. So all right, who wants to go first? I'm gonna move start this game. All right, and we're going to play some fun music while this happens, too. Oh, yeah. Let's get down to business to defeat the Huns. What? Who called my name? Yeah. The other game has sound, so make sure your guys' sound is up because it's going to talk to you. Oh, so that means there's not going to be music in here. So I lied, so someone's going to have to sing. Oh, my job? No, my singing career is over. Anyway, all right, let's get started and go. Josh, move around. Oh. And Ella, you can move around the circle. You can hit him with it too, it's fine. Oh, Josh got it. All right, hold on, Josh. Let me get it. And then you guys are going to switch places. Yep. Oh, yeah, and then online. Sorry. I got a little excited. We're going to play 2020. We can't believe it. So you guys are going to get a trivia question, and you're going to text your guess in the chat, and then it's going to tell you if it's right. Sully, will you be my scorekeeper online? Or Nora's going to keep score. But actually, I think Sully wants to. He just said yes with an exclamation mark. I think that's Sully's gift. You know how my gift is counting you guys off before we play a game? I think Sully's is keeping count, so I love it. All righty, so we're going to start online now.
Welcome to the best game you've ever played about the weirdest year in the existence of mankind.
Okay,
My name is Ted, and I'll be your host. Before we begin, let me tell you how to answer. Typically, we like to answer questions using A, B, C, and D, but in 2020, you get to strike a pose instead. Simply mimic the pose beside the answer that you want. That's it. But hurry up, because you only have 10 seconds to lock in your answer. The winner gets all of the money in your youth pastor's wallet. Let's get ready to play. In a bizarre incident in one of Uttar Pradesh's largest government hospitals, Blank attacked a lab technician, snatched vials containing blood samples from 3 coronavirus patients, and escaped. Lock in your answer now.
Just put your dirty bandanas over here. All right.
Let's see what it was.
Yay!
Alright, all you cool cats and kittens, let's see what's next. Instead of filling their audience with humans, an opera house in Barcelona, Spain filled their auditorium with blank. Strike your pose now.
And I'm trying to run both games at once, and this is not going
And the correct
very well.
answer was...
Okay, Hope. Yay. Brandon, start swinging it around. Come on, Hope, get aggressive. Good job. All right, switch places. I'm just going to put them right here, Brandon. Is that okay? And take this one, and I'm going to redo this one. Hey, Nicholas Grant, can you come tie the new candy while I, pump up the audience? You rock, dude. Thank you. Let's hear it for Nick All right, Hope, there's a new one with the Swedish fish on it. There you go. No. Yeah. All right. Okay. Are we ready? Okay. You lost your game. Okay, I'm going to keep going. All right. And Hope, you can walk around the circle. Ah! All right. Nick, did you tie the new piece of candy on there? All right, our next two, Haley and Matt. I'll get you next. Okay.
Let's keep playing. Unlike the 2020 Olympics. A police department in Oregon told residents on a Facebook post, "It's hard to believe that we even have to post this.
It doesn't
Do
have to
not
be super
call
tight,
911
Haley.
just because you blank. You will
All right.
survive without our
Nick's
assistance.
going to give it to you, Matt.
You have 10 seconds to decide."
Dude, there's scissors right there. You can cut it off. I did not well execute this game. You know what we're doing? You know what we're going to do? We're just going to play with one piece of candy, and at the end, I'll throw a candy to everybody. That's what we're going to do. Because this is a lot of work. So, yeah! Problem solving at its finest. So after Nick ties this, we're just going to leave it like this. All right. Now, Matt, I'm going to give you some advice here, buddy.
You are not going to believe
When
this.
me and Nick were practicing, so let's say you have it right here. You can go crazy with it. You can go up high. Like, let's have some fun with it. Let's get wild. Yeah, you have to act like, let's get it going. All right. All right, Matt. Haley. Matt, don't get it too close to her. Haley, run around. Try and find it. Well, Ben, we didn't have to worry about them falling off the stage. They're not moving much. Oh, there we go. Keep going. There we go, Matt. That's what I'm talking about. Make it hard. Come on, Haley. Move around, girlfriend. Move around. Awesome. All right. See? And then, switch roles.
This game has been the best
And
thing
then I'm just
since
going to give him
March.
candy.
Let's keep playing. A visitor to an
You don't have to
Irish
put another one
beach
on there.
captured video of the arrival
we're
of
just
an
gonna use the same
unusual
one.
fellow beachgoer. A blank that came running out of the sea.
All right.
Good luck finding the answer on this one.
All right, Haley, you ready? You can get a little closer. I know your arms aren't as long as mine. Yeah, run around the chairs, Matt. Run. Yeah, you're going to run. Run.
I'll come in there. I'll make you run.
The chairs, they're going to stop you. You're not going to get hurt. That's why we did this.
I'll catch you, Matt.
No, Caleb's chairs were much closer to the edge. Yeah, that's right, Haley. You keep going, girl.
Keep going.
Oh! This is what I'm talking about. Oh, there it is. Good job, guys.
This is crazy, but the answer is
Yay! Matt Mueller. Good job, buddy. All right.
you are on a roll, like toilet
All right.
paper, which
Now
is
come
gone.
on up.
On July
And
4th,
Nora-
2020,
Nora, get
Kanye
up
West
here.
announced his running for the United
Nora.
States presidential election and selected
Nora.
blank as his running mate.
No.
Lock in your answer now.
No. Okay. I'm picking up that I should move on. Luke, come on. He is ready to go. All right, Luke. Make it fun. Make us laugh. Yep, you can start. What? Watch out for the drums, though. Wow. This is too funny. Go and get it. See, Luke, you are showing how it's done.
Shout if you got it correct.
Now Kanye West is
pushing back on any criticism, insisting that this is not a publicity stunt. He says his running mate will be a preacher from Wyoming who describes herself as a biblical life coach. And even though he says he's serious about running for president, he actually has never voted for one.
All right. You can hear it. You can hear the Sour Patch. Oh.
I make no sense, but neither do these news stories.
Good job.
So let's keep playing. I have seen
switch
weird things in my
places.
life, but this one ranks up there. Rivera wrote as he captured a video of blank running loose through his residential subdivision.
Yeah, keep the candy on there.
Hey, I see you in the back.
Keep it on there. Yeah, we'll give you a fresh piece. Awesome. Now just switch roles. So Luke, you put on the blindfold. And, oh, no, you got to do this now. And then we'll give you candy. Don't worry. Is this entertaining? Okay. Did you guys hear him? He goes, "Okay, fishy, here's some food."
Shout if you got it correct.
Good job, Luke. All right, might as well go ahead and take that one. All right. Here you go. Oh, would you rather have those? Go ahead.
Some of you are doing a great job at social distancing from the correct answer.
All right, good job.
The state of Missouri sued televangelist Jim Baker for selling fake blank for $20 a bottle.
Come on up.
Choose your answer now.
Thank you, Nick. All right. Kinsey and Olivia, are you ready for this? You get candy out of it, though. Oh, it's okay. I wouldn't embarrass you. I know. That's what friends are for. All right, Kins. All right, put on a blindfold, Olivia. Yeah, just pick any one. You can hit her with the candy, but not the stick. We don't promote violence in this group. Hey. Minor details, dude. Minor details. All right, Olivia, you ready for this? Oh!
Time to reveal the truth.
Yay! All right, go ahead, Kins. Oh, gosh.
Let's continue.
All right, good job, Olivia.
Sharon Smith was looking out her window when she thought an Amazon delivery person was stealing her firewood. He was actually in her flower garden,
right.
blank.
Switch places.
These answers are crazy. No way is this real.
All right, let's see. Bobby, you haven't gone yet, right? Okay, so Bobby and Paige will be next. Yeah, you can go anywhere around the circle. But if you do swing it the way Kinsey just swung it, make sure you don't hit the drums or the screen. Yeah, you can hit Kinsey. Lightly, gently. We do not promote violence in this group. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Kinsey, are you acting like a fish right now? All right. All right, Olivia, start putting it closer to her. Oh, you hear it? Hear it, Ken? I would say that Three Musketeers is a goner. Ben will probably eat it. Oh, Kinsey! I don't want you to fall, sweetie. All right, Olivia.
This doesn't seem real, but let's look at the answer.
There we go. Good job. Go pick your candy, guys. Go pick your candy. And then our last one's up, Paigey and Bobby. Everybody else went that wanted to go, right?
I have spent way too much time in quarantine. It's time to get out.
Yeah, it said pooping.
Murder hornets,
Pooping's
whose multiple
natural.
stings can
Everybody
be deadly
poops.
to humans and are known for feeding honeybees to their young, were found
I
in
didn't
the state
see
of
that part.
blank.
That's gross.
Welcome to 2020.
All right. Here, give that to. Bobby, you got a double face going. Ain't nobody getting corona from Bobby. All right, Paige, you ready, girlie? All right. Go fishing.
You are not wrong if you answered this.
Murder hornets.
Right when you thought 2020 couldn't get
good
any
job.
worse, murder hornets
Oh, the
made
poor Three
their
Musketeers.
big
All right,
US
switch
debut.
roles now.
Murder hornets were first spotted in Washington state in December, and beekeepers there are very concerned.
Eye mask.
If you're happy and you know it, keep on
If
playing.
you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Horrifying footage of an
If you're
anaconda
happy
was
and you know
captured
it,
in
clap your
Brazil,
hands.
showing it wrapped
That's all I
around
got.
blank, trying to
All
swallow
right,
it
Bobby
whole.
and Paige.
Hurry and pick an answer.
Paige, back up a little bit. Oh, this is great. Keep going. Bobby, shake it so she can hear it. Ah, there we go. All right. Ben, how are we doing on time? All right, Nick, get in there. Right. Yep, grab a piece of candy, guys.
If this was true, imagine 2021.
What? No, I am. But thanks.
Sometimes I bite a stack of paper and pretend like I'm a stapler. An Austrian man was sitting on a park bench. He was fined 500 euros when he proceeded to stand up, look at the police, and blank. Well, this ought to be fun to figure out. Do a little dance if you got it correct.
Yay!
Grab the one you had earlier. Yeah, do exactly what did earlier. No. Sorry. All right. Okay, now Olivia and Mackenzie, make this wild. Like, you know, like Olivia, how you were like swinging it to like the ceilings. Yeah, and Mackenzie was rolling around. Yeah, be crazy. All right. 3, 2, 1. Go fishing with candy. Keep rolling, Kens. All right, Olivia, now start swinging it. Kenzie, you okay, honey? Yeah, other way. All right, Kenzie, try and get it. Here, Kenzie, turn around and go straight. Go straight. No, keep going. Olivia, now try swinging it near her and just trying to take it away. All right, make a noise with the candy so she can hear you. All right, Olivia, let her get it. Get her a little easier. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Give it to her. Kenzie, grab it. Oh, God. All right, thanks for playing, everybody. Should we play this every week, guys? I really wanted Ben to go in there. That would have been great. That's not Corona friendly. Maybe after Corona's over. All right, so next up, there's going to be a question on the screen, and you got to answer it. And then your favorite youth pastor is going to come up here. Ben! All right. Awesome stuff. So we got a question here for you guys tonight. What's the last thing someone bought you? We'll start in the room, and then I'll check in with our friends online. So we got Brandon over here. A Travis Scott burger for your dinner. Was that delicious? I almost got that tonight. I actually had McDonald's too. But I got 2 McDoubles. No, double cheeseburgers. Sam. Nice. Okay, so a little toy, kind of scorpion, is that what you said? That's pretty rad. All right. Mackenzie? All right, you got a cat? That's pretty awesome. Cats are cool. I got a cat. He's crazy. He doesn't shut up.
Anyway, he's really vocal, actually. So, Olivia. A what? A gum packet. Nice. Was there like a lot of gum in it? A little bit of gum in it? No gum? Okay, nice. That's solid. All right, Luke. Food. Just like dinner? Got it. Food. Wait, what? Shoes. Got it. Food. Shoe food. Yeah, right. Zeke eats his shoes sometimes. He doesn't anymore, though, thankfully. We're glad we're over that phase for now. Anyway. Yeah. Okay, online we see a couple things on here. So let's see. Soli said his dad bought him Qdoba about half an hour ago. Food. Can't go wrong with that. Qdoba. I also am curious, Soli, what did you have at Qdoba? What you answer matters. That's all. No, it doesn't matter. It's fine. It's whatever you want to get. So, all right. Adam Coombs said a book. Curious what book you got. Sounds good. Samuel said mom bought batteries. I'm assuming for you to use for something. So, nice. Batteries are good. My parents actually, legit, I think that might be like the last thing someone got me. Technically, it was more for Zeke than it was for me. But my parents got me like a big old pack of 48 AA batteries from like Sam's, and which was awesome because the week before they got him this like Bosch, they got him like this tool set that looks like my tools, but it's for him. So like they fit in his hands and they don't actually drill into things and or chainsaw into things. So which is good. But yeah, he's running those batteries down real fast on those. So yeah, we're gonna need to invest into that. Burrito bowl, I like that. So that's good. All right, so. A couple things for you. So we are in our series, and we're finishing it up tonight, called What to Do When You Don't Know What to Do. And as I was kind of preparing for the message tonight, I was thinking about, the last time someone did something that was kind of nice for me. I was thinking of some examples from when I was in, when I was in high school, when I was in college, when I was in middle school, And I always remember, I used to have a small group leader, and we'd always go out and we'd get like Taco Bell every once in a while. And he was actually my youth pastor. And I remember we used to go, and I'd be like, hey, like, do you want to go through like the book of Proverbs together? And he was like, yeah, sure, why not? And I was like, sweet. So we went through the book of Proverbs together. So we'd sit down, once a week at Taco Bell, the finest of dining that you can possibly sit at. And he'd always foot the bill. And I always like would offer to pay, but he was always like, no, dude, I got it. And like there were some weeks where I'm like, oh man, I don't got any money. He's like, it's good, I got it, And I always remember, like, regardless of whatever I did, he was always there to pay for the bill. He was always there to help pay for Taco Bell, and he didn't care, and he never held it against me. He never came back later and said, hey, Ben, so remember all those times we took you to Taco Bell and we read through the book of Proverbs? Yeah, so I've tallied all that up, and here's how much you owe me. There's none of that. Like, no. Like, last time I chatted with him, he was like, dude, what's up, Like, and you doing good? You doing great? Like, he was like, cool, you want me to pay for Taco Bell? No, it's good, dude. I told you I paid for it. So, anyway, so I never had to pay him back or anything like that. He was just totally chill about it, And we all have people like that in our lives, and we all need people in that in our lives that, are people that just are willing to do things for us and that just care for us and that they do something without expecting anything in return, right? And so outside of paying money back to someone you owe, the idea of payback also comes up when someone hurts us, right? Always comes up when someone hurts us. So, for example, when someone talks about us behind our back, right? What do we want? We want payback. Someone talks about you behind your back. I know, Nick is really distracting right now, isn't he? Everyone like in the room's just like, I'm just watching everyone in the room's just like, Nick. Anyway, all right, when someone flirts with your girlfriend or boyfriend, what do you want? You want payback, right? You're like, I can kick them, when someone fails to text you back or invite you to a group, outing, what do you want? You want payback. You want to get payback with them, right? And in those moments when we feel hurt and we want payback, maybe you didn't go all scary movie and get terrifying revenge where you like murder them and you stab them or something like that, or you didn't like write the song about them, which is literally every Taylor Swift song and every pop culture song out there, But we all try to get payback in one way or another. Thankfully, not as viciously or as creatively, I guess. So we want them to feel pain. And we want them to feel the pain that we hurt or that we felt, So we want them to be embarrassed the way that we were embarrassed. We want them, to feel the way that we felt. Our first reaction is almost always to get even. When we feel hurt, when we feel embarrassed by someone else, we want to get even, or at least get something in return. Even if it's just knowing that our, shady Snapchat comment was actually about them. So, isn't it true though, and think about this, that the closer you are to someone, the closer you are to a person, the more we want payback? Is that true? The closer that you are to someone, when someone hurts you, the more you want payback. Most of you aren't trying to pay back someone else's brother or sister for something they did, Like you're just like, whatever, like it's fine. I can just kind of look over that. I don't really know you, Your feelings probably aren't hurt from someone else's best friend. It's like, it's cool, whatever, like I don't have to talk to you ever again. I'll just move on. And you probably don't get angry over what someone else's ex did. You're like, it's not my ex, it's fine, The people who are closest to us, though, are the people who know you the best and the people that have the most potential to hurt you. So they're most likely to be on your list of people who owe you payback. And then I think, going back to the life of Joseph and going back to week 1 of what we talked about, I think the people that we think owe us the most and the people that we want to get the most payback with is our family. Would I be correct in that? I think in all of us, in our situations, a lot of times, our closest friends, but in most of our lives, I feel like it's our family that we just want to get even with. When they mess us up, we're like, nope, you have to mess it up. Think about all the times that you're like, well, okay, you had to eat all this like terrible vegetables that mom and dad made you, but then when your sibling doesn't have to go through that, you're like, wait a second, you never cut the edges off of my sandwich. That's not okay. I want payback. I want retribution. You know what I mean? For that. This is ridiculous, And then mom and dad are like, well, we changed our ways. We saw how awful it was. We see how it scarred you, and we don't want it to happen to them too, right? So it's like, no, but we want payback, right? And so for most of us, payback comes in one of 3 ways. It comes in one of 3 ways. So number 1 here, it says this, public payback. We want to get back publicly. We want to get back in the most obvious way possible. This is when we do to them what they did to us in an obvious way. We talk bad about them, about the person who talked bad about us. We clap back loudly, and we're just like, boom, you know what I mean? And we get back at them really quick, or we roast them, and then we're like, just kidding, I didn't really mean it. But we're like, I really meant it. I really meant it, And then there's the passive payback. Secondly, there's a passive payback, where this way is more subtle. We make comments that aren't obviously hurtful. Hey, Nick, can you just wait till we're done? Thanks, dude. All right, cool. I'm getting distracted now. Anyway, so this is more subtle. We make comments that aren't obviously hurtful, but it could be interpreted that way. So we put like a subtle kind of post on social media. We roll our eyes when someone talks, or we ignore someone else's texts when obviously we're reading them, but we're just like, nah, I'm going to turn read receipts off so you just don't know. Or I'm just going to have an Android phone so you just don't know ever. So, So it's a passive payback. And we say, I'm going to hurt you back. I'm going to hurt you back. And then lastly, there's the imaginary payback. Imaginary payback. Personally, I think I'm an expert at this one. This is the one where I think I dwell out the most. Imaginary payback happens when we have an argument in our own mind. You ever been there? And we destroy them. Like in your mind, you're like, ha ha ha, get wrecked, kid. You know what I mean? And you just like kind of fantasize about it for a little bit, We have a better argument, a better comeback, and we annihilate them. And it takes over our thoughts, but we never actually do anything about it. But in our heart, there's this consistent thread of unforgiveness and animosity and anger towards this person. And the most satisfying payback of all, which, in all of this, is when we get to enjoy watching them fail. Right? You ever been there? Someone's done something wrong to you, someone's hurt you, someone's put you in pain, someone said something to you that was mean or inappropriate. And the one thing you want to do is just like, man, I can't wait to watch you fail, and I'm going to laugh over you in your failure, Like, so here's some examples here. Maybe your ex broke up with you or someone else, and then they got dumped, and you're like, ha! Who's the ugly one now? You're like, wow, Ben, that's really hurtful. What a youth pastor. Anyway, you know what I mean? So you're like, you guys were shaking your heads when you said the imaginary thing there, so I know something of those thoughts. Anyway, so maybe your mom snapped. These are like, some of you aren't relating to the boyfriend-girlfriend thing, but that's okay. So maybe your mom snapped at you and hurt your feelings, and she just kind of had one of those moments where you're like, Mom, let me tell you, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, shut up, and you're like, ah, you know what I mean? You're crying in the corner, but you hurt your feeling. And now she's crying, and she's apologizing because she did something. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry, And so now it's the perfect setup for you to put the exclamation mark on a regret. And you're like, you always say to me, and you put her in her place, Or maybe it's that guy that made fun of us in 3rd grade, and we still haven't forgotten about it, because here we are, 6 years later, And then he face plants during a pep rally game, and you're the first one to jump up, and you're like, oh, how's your face feel now? Since 3rd grade dodgeball. And, and just like, everyone turns to you and is like, really? Someone's got to go to the counselor, get some help, right? In those moments where stuff like that happens, it feels like justice, doesn't it? Right? It feels like justice. In fact, there's a word that we use in our world today. It's called karma, right? It's called karma. And karma essentially means it's like what goes around comes around. Essentially, there's this kind of scale of things, good, bad. And so if someone does something bad to you, eventually something bad's going to happen to them, which, sometimes happens, but it's not really true. And as you read through the Bible, especially Ecclesiastes, it's not necessarily true. But it feels good when we see someone that gets something that was coming to them, whether it's good or whether it's bad, And so that's exactly the sort of situation that we find ourselves in with Joseph here tonight as we're talking about it, as we wrap up his story in this series. And so in this series, we've been journeying through the life of Joseph. And can we just talk about how it's been a wild ride, right? Like, it's just been kind of crazy. His life is just one kind of crazy moment. I mean, I'm surprised. Well, I think I know why, but I'm surprised there hasn't really been movies about Joseph, I mean, I guess there's a musical, isn't there? So there's that. But, Joseph, I mean, his life is crazy. His brothers plotted to kill him. It's kind of wild. They saw a group of traveling, merchants, and they were like, hey, let's go throw them out there, And even before that, we had the moment of Joseph where he's rubbing it in his family's face, and he's saying, hey, you guys are going to bow down to me one day, and that's just kind of how it's going to be. So stinks to stink. So anyway, so he says that, and he kind of talks about this, and then he's super annoying his brother, so then they go to plot to kill him like we talked about, which, seems like, a normal idea. No, totally an overreaction. But instead, they saw a group of traveling people through town. They sell him as a slave. And then the rest of the series we've covered, Joseph gets thrown as a slave into Egypt. He makes it in this guy named Potiphar's house. And then he's thrown as a slave into prison in Egypt. Things go wrong with Potiphar's wife, and it's a hot mess, right? And then Joseph then has this great moment where he interprets a dream for the cupbearer and the baker, and things are going to go well for them and for him, right? But it doesn't, because he gets forgotten for 2 more years. And then Pharaoh has a dream, and then he's set up as second in command. So he's finally placed in charge of all of Egypt, second in command to Pharaoh. Not a bad outcome for a kid who was sold into slavery by his own brothers, right? Like, that's not a bad outcome. That sounds like something that Disney would be mucking up right there, But then there's a plot twist. After Joseph was put into second command, there was a food shortage, just like the dream that he interpreted for Pharaoh. There was a food shortage, 7 years of plenty and then 7 years of bad, And so Joseph's dad, Jacob, he sent his brothers to Egypt because there was a food shortage where they were, and asked for food because their country was out and they were starving and they were going to die if they didn't ask for help soon, right? And at this point in the story, Joseph's families thought he was dead. They thought he was gone. He was a goner. So the slave traders probably just whooped him. He was dead. He was gone. They were thinking they were never going to see him again. So when they came to Egypt, they didn't think one possibility that they were going to see Joseph. But when they arrived in Egypt, Joseph was there. And Joseph was the one in charge of everything. And so when they arrived in Egypt, they saw Joseph. Not knowing it was Joseph, a huge drama unfolded. this whole crazy drama and this whole crazy story that goes through. And you can read some of the interactions between Joseph and his brothers, and it goes through the last 8 chapters of Genesis 42 through 50. And trust me, I mean, like, you don't want to miss it. There's reading this like back and forth. It's so good. I mean, there's so many crazy things that happen, and just hearing what goes on and back, it's pretty wild. It's like being in a movie. But let's pick up in Genesis 45, because Joseph, he's done a couple things with his brothers, and he's kind of sent them back and forth with their dad, and then to meet his younger brother that he didn't really know, named Benjamin. It's a great name. Anyway, and so they're doing this whole back and forth thing. And then eventually he pulls him into a room and he's talking with him here. And so he says this. He says this in Genesis 45, 1 through 3. He says, "Then Joseph could no longer control himself before all his attendants, and he cried out, 'Have everyone leave my presence.' So there was no one with Joseph when he made himself known to his brothers. And he wept so loudly that the Egyptians heard him, and Pharaoh's household heard about it. Joseph said to his brothers, 'I am Joseph. Is my father still living?' But his brothers were not able to answer him because they were terrified at his presence." Could you guys take a moment to think about that? You're Joseph's brothers. You attempted murder on his life. You would have gone through it if it wasn't for the older brother, Reuben. You sold him into slavery, and you said bye. And that was years ago. There's been 7 years of plenty food, at least 2 years of famine. That's 9. Add 2 more years to the fact that he was waiting in prison. That's 11. Who knows how many years with Potiphar? The years are racking up. We're talking maybe 15 years. That's longer than most of you have been alive, right? That's crazy. That's crazy. And so we think about that in the life of this. And so all of a sudden the brothers show up on the scene and they're like, and you got to imagine like one, they got to have a lot of thoughts going there. One, wait a second. Hold on, wait. You're still alive. And then wait, you're in command. What does that mean for us? You know what I mean? Like, there's this whole line of thinking that's going to be going around here, you know? And so I can imagine the tension and the emotion in the moment. Joseph is face to face with his brothers and the people who try to kill him. His own brothers who sold him into slavery. The same brothers who ironically were asking him for help. This was a get what's coming to you moment at its finest. If there was ever a moment for Joseph to say, gotcha, I'm going to get my just reward, this was it. Everything was set up perfectly. Payback was dropped into the lap of Joseph. Joseph could have refused them food. He could have had them thrown into prison, maybe given the taste of their own medicine, right? He could have had them killed. They were certainly willing to do that to him earlier, right? But what do you do? What would you do in this situation? That's the question I think we all have to ask ourselves. What would we do in this situation? What would we happen? What would we do when we were face to face with the people that had put us into slavery, that tried to kill us? I mean, don't say it out loud, but in your own head, be honest with yourself. What would you have done with all that power to hurt the person or the people who hurt you the most? And honestly, I don't know what I would do. I would like to say I do the same thing as Joseph. I'd want to do the same thing that Joseph does here in this passage that we're going to see in a little bit. But I don't really know. And I don't think any of us can truly answer that until we're in that moment either. But as the story continues, Joseph asks his brothers to walk over and stand close to him. And you can imagine the terror on their face because they're like, wait, you want us to get closer? I've seen the movies. This never ends well, you know, whatever movies they watched back then, you know. And so they're Netflix, you know. And Joseph said this. Notice in 45, verses 4 through 7, he says this. I am your brother Joseph, the one you sold into slavery. And now, do not be distressed and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you. Whew. Wow. For 2 years now there has been famine in the land, and for the next 5 years there will be no plowing and reaping. But God sent me ahead of you to preserve for you a remnant on earth and to save your lives by great deliverance. Wow. I don't know what else to say after reading a passage like that. But I don't know if you can wrap your mind around this, because it's hard for me to wrap my mind around this. But man, if you can think of the worst pain you've ever been dealt by someone, the worst grievance someone has ever given you, and then you take a moment where you get to give them the ultimate payback. There is no punishment for the punishment you give them. You have all reason to do whatever you want to this person in that moment. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And Joseph responds with forgiveness. Joseph responds with peace. He responds not with payback, but he responds with the truth of what God had been doing all along. He sees the bigger picture, which is just mind-boggling to me. Mind-boggling to me. So he had already done the hard work of forgiveness. And I think that's the thing about Joseph. Joseph had already been in these moments. He'd done the hard work of forgiveness. We know that because Joseph could look in the eyes of the ones who caused him the most grief in his life, and he could care about how they were feeling. And when Joseph said, do not be stressed and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here, he was acknowledging their wrong and his hurt without creating more hurt. That's pretty impressive, isn't it? You know, Joseph not only forgives them, but he also is thinking about what they're feeling in that moment. And he's saying, I know you're probably thinking I'm going to kill you right now because you know I have all authority to do that right now. Or that I'm going to make you starve, or I'm going to do something crazy. But I want you to know, I love you, and I forgive you, and that God used this. He redeemed the situation. Joseph chose forgiveness over payback. And we see that in the moment. He had the greatest opportunity for revenge. Somewhere between being sold into slavery and being reunited with his brother, here's the kind of point we want to make here. Joseph did the hard work of giving his hurt to God and allowing God to be central in his healing. He did the hard work of giving his hurt to God. That's why Joseph was quick to acknowledge God in the area where his brothers had caused him the most pain. He said, you meant for evil. God used it for good. You meant to sell me into slavery. God used it to save our family. You tried to kill me. God used it to save you. An incredible moment right here. Now here's the thing. Just because Joseph chose forgiveness didn't make his pain any less. It didn't make it any more easy necessarily. It just took the real pain and the real hurt and no longer putting them center stage. And saying, you know what? I'm going to put God there instead. And instead of feeling remorse, instead of feeling pain, instead of feeling hate and dwelling on that, instead I'm going to dwell on God. I'm going to think about him instead. Forgiveness was not only for his brothers, it was for freedom from his own pain too. So Joseph went on to tell his brothers to go get their father, to move the entire family there, and to move him to Egypt because the famine would continue for another 5 years. And to move him there, and that, so his family wouldn't have to suffer. Let's move on. Genesis 45:15, it says this. And it says, he kissed all his brothers, and he wept over them. Afterward, his brothers, notice this, talked to him. It takes a whole 10 verses after he acknowledges this for his brothers to finally say a word to him, because I don't even know. I feel like it would be a whole nother 5 chapters before I'd say anything. But, it's just insane. But, that might be the only thing better than payback. Reconciliation. The only thing better than payback is reconciliation. Because this is where we see God do the impossible in a relationship. We see him bring peace where there wasn't peace. We see their forgiveness. So when it comes to other people hurting us, we too have the opportunity to choose something better than payback. In fact, here's a simple way to remember it. When you don't know what to do, pursue peace instead of payback. When you don't know what to do, pursue peace instead of payback. And I think that's such an important thing for us to kind of think and to put into our minds, because so often we have these moments in our lives where we're wondering, okay, what do I do in this situation? How do I respond to this person that's wronged me, that's hurt me, that's done all these awful things to me? How do I respond in that moment? And I love what this says. It says, respond with peace. Let's break that down just a little bit. When you pursue peace, here's what you do. 3 things. When you pursue peace, you fight for the relationship. When you pursue peace, you fight for that relationship. In other words, you can fight to win, to be right, to make a point, to battle someone on Facebook over politics and who knows what else, or you can fight the urge for payback and pursue peace. But you can't do both. It's one or the other. Joseph preserved his relationship with all of his brothers because he chose peace. If Joseph decided to go with payback, what would have happened? It would have been the end of the story. And that'd be it. And we just follow the line of Joseph, I guess, for the rest of this, and that'd be it. And he was only able to do that because he fought for forgiveness. And he was only able to forgive because of the help of God. Joseph didn't have a superpower that allowed him to do this. He just had the determination to work for peace and an understanding that God would work in the situation, which means you and I can do this too. You and I can do this like Joseph, because Joseph wasn't special. Joseph was just an ordinary man that trusted God and that leaned into God and that gave God his hurts. So when you pursue peace, you fight for the relationship. You keep the relationship intact. When you pursue peace, here's the other thing. You lay down your right to get payback. You lay down your right to get payback. You let go of revenge. And man, can I tell you that's a hard thing to do, isn't it? Isn't that a hard thing to do? For the longest time, we had this issue with one of our neighbors, and it was just eating me up inside. And I remember there were times where I would just drive home, and I'd see their house, and I'm just like, ugh, like, you ever get that where you see that person or something about that person, and it just like drives up that anger within you again? You're like, I got to get back at them for saying those mean things and for doing those awful things. It's like, it just kind of gets you, you get fired up all of a sudden, right? And you just want to, and there's this moment where I finally just had to say, you know what? My neighbor is made in the image of God too. I don't know if my neighbor knows Jesus, but I know one thing, God's forgiven me for a lot worse. And so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to choose forgiveness instead. And when the opportunity presents itself, I'm going to look for a reason to lay down my desire, my right for payback. And I'm going to pursue peace instead. And thankfully, I began a process of praying about that. And thankfully, God provided an opportunity for that. And he led a way out for me to be able to reconcile that relationship with my neighbor. And it's been great. In fact, we're going to have a ping pong tournament soon. That's all I got to say. So anyway, you let go of the revenge. You say goodbye to your desire to get even, and instead, you choose the path of forgiveness. You choose God's story of reconciliation instead of your own story of payback and revenge. Even though it looks good in the movies, it doesn't turn out real good in real life. This is easier said than done, though, right? Because something you may have to work at daily, but the ultimate benefit of doing this is for you. You not only have peace with them, you have peace in you as well. So when you pursue peace, you lay down your right to get payback, and you give it up. And then the last one here, when you pursue peace, you show Christ's work in your life. You show Christ's work in your life. Pursuing peace and laying down our right for payback, that shows maturity. That shows maturity as a follower of Christ. That shows that you understand what it means to really follow after Christ, what Christ actually has done for you, and what it really means, In Colossians 3:12 through 13 and verse 15, I think it kind of encapsulates this kind of really well. It says this, therefore, as God's chosen people, you guys hear that? You guys, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, here's what he says, clothe yourselves. In other words, put on. Make this like your outfit, Make this what you're known by, right? Clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Wow, those all sound like things that bring about peace, right? Bear with each other Ooh, that's a word, right? Bear with each other. In other words, that doesn't mean it's always going to be good. It doesn't going to be sunshine and rainbows and all that fun stuff. No, it means it's going to be tough, and you got to kind of deal with each other's junk. Bear with each other and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. And I love this in verse 15. Forgive as the Lord forgave you, right? That passage just stabs me in the heart. And then, but check this out. It says, when you do that, let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body, you were called to peace. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. You know what I've always thought in my own life, and I've always recognized in my own life? When I don't realize how much I've been forgiven by God, I don't forgive others. I can only forgive others in the manner of how much I realize I've been forgiven by God. In other words, I need to be mindful of my own sin. I need to be mindful of my own error, my own mess-ups, my own faults, so that I recognize what Jesus has done for me. And guys, when you can put that perspective in your mind, man, it changes the way you view others when they hurt you and when they insult you and they cause you pain and grief in life. And it makes it all of a sudden, you know what? We can look at them. Maybe not in the same, as perfectly as Christ did, but we can look at them too like Christ did and say, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. You know, when sinners are acting sinfully, it shouldn't surprise us. And so we forgive them. And we move on and we say, I'm going to pursue peace instead of payback. Now, let's be honest. This can get really complicated really fast, can't it? When it comes to forgiving others, it can get complicated because we don't want to become a doormat and we don't want people walking over us all the time. It's as simple as that, right? Because what happened to you isn't what happened to Joseph either. And your life story is not the same. I mean, his was probably a lot worse, but that doesn't make yours any less significant, does it? It's still your life, and it still hurts, and it still causes pain, and it still keeps you up at night, and it still makes you cry. It still does all these things. I could tell dozens of stories, and none of them would be exactly like yours, but maybe you spent the whole time wondering, do you always have to reconcile? What about when you're in a relationship that's just completely toxic? What if you're the one who did the hurting? What do you do in that moment? Here's the thing I think is good for us to remember. Each of us has unique and complicated situations. And figuring out what it looks like to pursue peace isn't easy. So here's the disclaimer for you. Pursuing peace isn't easy. Oftentimes, it's messy. Or as we put it up here, pursuing peace isn't easy. So there you go. Enjoy that. Pursuing peace, it isn't easy. It's often just messy. It's a messy world out there. Joseph's life, I mean, it wasn't smooth, right? It was messy. It was a hot mess, right? But here's the thing I think is so good. That's why we have small groups. That's why small groups exist. And that's why they're so important. Because we want to talk about what this looks like for you specifically. So we encourage you guys, be a part of small groups on Sundays at 1. Don't miss out on that, where you can be real. You can be real with your leaders. You can be real with your friends. You can be real with your fellow small groupians, and real with all of those people. And so you can grow. And so you can be honest and say, man, I'm just really struggling. You know what's the most amazing thing in my life that I've recognized in small group world? Like sharing stuff like this where we have grievances against people isn't something we like to talk about, right? But I can tell you, when I shared my biggest sin, the thing I thought was going to just wreck my life, and if the world got out when I was in high school, and I shared the sin that I was struggling with, if I said that, man, they're going to kick me out of the church, they're never going to want to talk to me ever again. You know what the amazing thing is when I shared that in my small group? It allowed others the opportunity to also say, I'm struggling with that too. And you know what that formed? It formed a group of us to be together, to talk together, and to encourage one another to walk through that. So here's what we want to encourage you guys to do. As you guys go home tonight, we're going to have an activity right after this message, but as you guys go home tonight, I want you to think about this question. Think about what you have the power to do when it comes to pursuing peace. What do you have the power to do? Maybe you're the one that did the hurting, or maybe you're the one that's been hurt. But what do you have the power to do to pursue peace? What do you need to decide? Who do you need to forgive? What offense do you need to bring to God? He can do incredible things in your story that you may not be able to imagine yet. So when you don't know what to do, pursue peace instead of payback. I'm going to pray, and then we're going to go into a time of reflection. And throughout the series, we've been through the series for 5 weeks, and we've talked about it a lot. And I think oftentimes we finish up a series and we just kind of move on to the next one and we go to the next thing that's going on in that. And here's what I want to encourage you guys to think about, is what we want to encourage you guys during this time is to take a moment and just think back to what we've learned and bring it to God and bring it back up into your mind before we just leave it on the shelf and never come back to it again. So I encourage you guys to do that. So for those of you in the room, we've given you guys handouts that you guys can write on and that you can follow along with. And for those of you that are online, we have a screen for you. I don't know what camera you're on, but we have a screen for you. And so on the screens, we'll show what you're going to do during that time, so you can follow those along as we go. And so just get out a piece of paper if you're online. Get a piece of paper out and write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Space them out pretty far. And you got 3 questions, 3 prompts under each of them. And so give yourself some room to write and some room to think and some room to do all that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, all right. So with that said, let me pray. And then I'll lead us into this time of reflection together. So God, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being a part of our lives. God, thank you so much for the forgiveness that you showed us. God, thank you for making peace between us and God. A peace that we couldn't form. We couldn't create because we were the ones in the wrong. So thank you. Thank you for what you did on the cross to save us from our sin. Lord, we thank you for this evening. And we thank you for the life of Joseph. And God, there's a lot of bad examples in the Bible. God, we're so thankful for Joseph's example. And we thank you for how he loved you, how he looked to you, how he took his hurt and his pain to you, and then allowed him to be able to forgive his brothers because he saw the bigger picture. He saw that there was more going on behind the scenes, that you were at work and you were going to do something great, regardless of what happened, regardless of what his brothers did. So God, thank you. It's in your name we pray. Amen. So we're going to have some prompts for you. So the first prompt that we're going to have, and we can go full screen with this on the live stream. You don't have to look at me anymore. So if you guys got it, you can pull out your sheets. For those of you that are in the room, there's some scripture for you to read as well that kind of is the story of Joseph, so you can use that kind of bring back to memory. And then on the other side of that are the prompts that you see up on the screen. So what I want to encourage you guys to do, we're going to give you 4 minutes over or 3 minutes on each of these prompts. So take 3 minutes on each of these and just take a moment to just reflect, to meditate, and to write down what you see on the screen. And then in 3 minutes later, we'll switch to the next one, and then we'll keep going from there. So you guys, go ahead. So we're going to move on in this time to week number 2 as we think about what it means when God is with us. So move on to week number 3, which is the next right thing. When you don't know what to do the next right thing. Take a moment to read through that. Last week we talked about how there's purpose in the pain. And so we want to talk about that a little bit and focus on the things that have brought us a little bit of pain. And just like Joseph, and invite God into that and see how God could redeem that. So take a moment to reflect on those questions. And then lastly, we want to look at this evening's message on how we pursue peace. So take a moment to revisit that story from today and to go over these prompts as you reflect on how you can pursue peace and be God's peace to those around you. So God, thank you. Thank you for this series to learn, Lord, what to do when we don't know what to do. So God, when we're with our families, God, we'll remember that who we are at home, Lord, matters. And how we act and how we are genuine about our lives, Lord, that we would be consistent. And God, would you continue to remind us, Lord, that no matter what difficulties we face, Lord, you are with us. You're in the midst of every storm. You're in the midst of every valley. You're in the midst of every heartache and every bad test grade. And Lord, you're there with every, just difficult moment. God, thank you. Thank you that you're a God that will never leave us nor forsake us. You're a God that is there always. And God, we just thank you that you're a God that empowers us to do the right thing, that shows us what the right thing is. And so, God, I pray for all of us in this room, would you help encourage us and embolden us to continue making the right steps in our lives? And God, would you remind us that even when we go through painful circumstances, it's not the end of us. It doesn't define us. But God, you use it. You use it to help others going through same situations or similar situations. And God, you use it to build us up, to mature us. And God, thank you for your peace, which surpasses all understanding. And God, I pray that we would be your peacemakers in this world. Lord, that we would continue to draw your peace to the world around us through the forgiveness that you've shown us. So Lord, thank you. Thank you for this time that we've had in this series. And Lord, I pray for each and every one of these students, whether they're in person or online. God, I pray, would they live these truths out? And God, would you use them in their lives? It's in your name we pray. Amen. Guys, we hope you had a wonderful night. We loved having you here. We will see you Sunday. Have a great night.